I wanted to show you a little bit about how I construct the drawers, and it's very close to the same construction as I do on all my drawers. There are some different applications, and I've told about them a little bit in here, and maybe someday I can show you some of that. When I filmed these sessions, I was just coming out of the injury when I fell and I hurt my back. You can see a little bit of pain and a lot of the distraction, though I'm pretty distracted a lot. I'm a little bit hyperactive, and I do get distracted easily. I'm visually. Oh my goodness. Well, I am building a drawer. Well, I've taken all the clamps off, and what I've got on my drill is a piece of tape at the point that I don't want to drill lower than that, which is just, it won't drill all the way through these boards. I'll start down here on this side right here. So what I've done is I've measured how deep this pin needs to go using a stick and my finger. I measured how deep that pin needs to go, and then I cut one piece, and I've marked off the rest of the pieces that I have to have. Frequently this will change. Sometimes it remains the same from one part of a job to another. Sometimes I use a really long pin, like when I'm making my butcher blocks. I will make a long pin, and the pin will go through 3 pieces of wood. I was raised by a couple of people who were very Renaissance type people. They believed if you could do it, then do it. If you have something and you can figure out the mechanics of it and do a good job. Now, you're not capable of doing a good job, then hire it done, was the attitude that I was raised with, and I still go with that a lot. But a lot of times, just my nature likes being able to do the stuff. And I really do enjoy doing my own stuff for the most part. As you can tell, I like figuring it out, I like designing it, and I like watching it come together. See, there's 10, there's all the pieces I need right there. I had one too many. Good amount of it. I am using an all-purpose acrylic-based glue. It is permanent. It's got a lot of tack, and it works very well. In fact, the few times I've had to try to take something apart after the glue had had its 24 hours, I ended up tearing it up because it just, it is a very, very firm. I'm going to go ahead and put these pins in, and I'm going to let that sit for just a little bit, and then I'm going to come in and start putting the walls up on the box. When you make a drawer, you want to make boxes, and then depending on how your drawer is going to work, you either make glides for the sides of it with a rail that will travel on those glides, or you make slides on the bottom so that it will slide across a slide surface, and you put guides on that so that they will not go kind of wonky. And I've made quite a few drawers in my time. Some of them I made before I really understood, and then many of them I've made since. And the ones that I've made since I've really learned and all have worked very nicely. The first set of drawers I put in was in my kitchen. That's the first big project of that nature that I attempted. And when I put the drawers in there, I bought the soft close hardware. And I'm not as sold on it as I could be for the price of it. Since then, I've gone back to Woodwright, and I've investigated and learned about Woodwright drawers, and I found there's 2 or 3 different things that you can do with drawers that make them work very nicely. Hello, Cat. My assistant sleeps a lot. Yes, he does. He still has problems with his eye. I need to wrestle him down and clean it real good. But yeah, my drawer is getting put together with the help of a cat. Yeah, he's going to hold it down so it doesn't go anywhere. Aren't you, Mardigan? Hey, Mardigan, are you going to hold it down so it can't go anywhere? Yeah. The sides are glued. I'm doing this a little different than I normally would. I am going to pin it once it is all sturdy and glued together. Then I am going to pin it. Yeah, for stability, for longevity. That's my intent. The cat will probably help me do that too. I have attached the sides, and they're clamped down here at the bottom. I've come in, and I don't know if you can see it or not, but I have put on these supports in the corners, and they're all clamped and gluing together. This is the back piece, and as soon as all of this is glued, this back piece will go on back here, just across the back, and be pinned to this support board and the 2 side support boards, and be glued real good. So that's probably about the next step, is applying to that. When I get that done, I'm going to be bringing on a thin board to line around the insides of this box, and then once that's done, that will give me a little more support for the top of that. And then I've got the drawer front is made, and it's outside, and it will attach onto these supports right here. my drawer done. I pinned these boards on the side. Everything has been pinned. The support boards going around the perimeter have all been pinned. But when we put it in, I had measured everything, and everything seemed to fit. And then when we put the door, after I got the finish on the front and everything, we put the door in place, and it would not go all the way in. And what I found was that the window had been open. You can reach in behind the cabinet and unlatch that window, and it had been open. But when it was closed, the door hit against the drawer, hit against the latch, and it wouldn't let the drawer close all the way. So we played with a lot of ideas, and finally I decided to cut a hole in the back of it where that hinge has to fit. And I cut that, and everything seemed to work pretty good. And what I'm doing now is I am building a little box around that place where the hinge has got to go into the very back. I'll turn it up here and you can see it. There's a little place right there, little hole, where the hinge has to go in there. When the hinge is closed, it sticks out more. When it's open, it goes in against the window, and the drawer will go all the way back. But when it's closed, it sticks out just a little bit. And so this box fit it. I've tried it several times, and this box fits that little hinge. And now what I'm doing is I'm closing this off so that if we have the window open or whatever, we won't get any flame bugs or anything like that coming in. It's possible something could land on the back and crawl over the top, because it doesn't fit tight on there, but it fits good enough that I shouldn't have any issues with stuff falling out of the drawer. That was more my concern, was that when I pulled the drawer out, stuff would fall out. We tried some sticky metal tape in it, and that was okay, but it didn't, I didn't feel like it would keep things might stick to the sides of it, and one thing or another, it was there, and it wasn't a firm situation after we got it in. So now I've created this little box. We'll be able to reach behind and flick out that if we want to open that window, and if it's closed, the drawer will still fit into place. And I'm excited to take it out here in just a minute, because I've checked and checked and checked, and I'm pretty sure it's about right. I'm going to set some heavy items on top of that for just a minute. These are my wood scissors. I lost my main set of wood scissors for a little time, and I knew I had picked them up real quick and put them away, but before we took a trip to North Carolina, I cleaned all that stuff out of my work area, and I'd put everything back away, except these were in the wrong drawer, and I didn't find them for about a week, and when we got back, I had some things I needed to finish. So I ended up going ahead and buying another pair of wood scissors. I still prefer my old pair the best. They work very well. Both pair are quite heavy, and they work very nicely. And these are just a little more detailed. The ones with the blue handles here, which are my old pair, are just a little more detailed for cutting specialty cuts. But I like having two pair. It's kind of nice to have both pair. There were times when it would have been nice to have had a second pair, especially when I was working in camps and things like that. So I don't mind at all that I bought another pair and then found my old pair. That made me actually very happy. So that is glued, and I'm going to let it sit for a few minutes, and then I'll take it back out to my bus and put it in and make sure that everything is working just right. Thank you for joining me today in my studio. I hope you got something that encouraged you, informed you, or inspired you, and I hope that you'll join me again next time.